They say love begins with a glance. But what truly happens in that one fleeting moment when your eyes meet someone's, and something inside you shifts? Your heartbeat quickens, your breath slows, and time itself seems to hesitate. That spark, that pull, that invisible gravity. That's not magic. That's psychology. Physical attraction isn't just about beauty, and it's about recognition. A subconscious whisper that says, this person feels familiar, safe, or maybe dangerously magnetic. It's the brain's oldest language, written long before words existed. Every glance, every touch, every scent tells a story, one about chemistry, emotion, and survival. But here's the truth we often ignore. Attraction isn't only physical. It's emotional, psychological, and spiritual. It's how two nervous systems start to dance with each other, reading micro-expressions, responding to voice tone, sensing warmth, trust, and desire all at once. In a world where love has become digital and connection feels distant, we've forgotten how deeply human it is to feel someone's presence. This series will uncover what truly happens beneath the surface, why touch can heal, why love changes the brain, and how physical closeness isn't lust, but a form of emotional communication. This is the psychology of physical attraction, a story not just about bodies meeting, but souls recognizing each other. When two people meet, something ancient awakens inside us, a pattern written in our biology. Attraction isn't random. It's the result of millions of years of evolution. Our brains are wired to notice cues of warmth, health, and familiarity. But what truly pulls us towards someone is not perfection. It's energy. It begins in the limbic system, the emotional center of the brain. When you see someone who triggers that spark, your brain releases a flood of dopamine, the feel-good chemical responsible for motivation and reward. That's why attraction feels addictive. It literally mirrors the chemistry of excitement and anticipation. But there's more beneath the surface. Studies from neuroscience reveal that when we're physically close to someone we like, the brain releases oxytocin, often called the love hormone. It's the same chemical that bonds mothers to infants, partners to each other, and friends through trust. That's why physical closeness, a gentle touch, a hug, a hand on your back, can instantly calm anxiety. Our bodies recognize connection before our minds even do. Interestingly, scent also plays a crucial role. Every human has a unique chemical signature called pheromones, invisible signals that affect how others perceive us. Without realizing it, our brains are constantly decoding these signals, helping us feel safe or drawn to someone. Yet attraction isn't just about biology. It's equally psychological. People are often drawn to those who reflect something familiar, sometimes even echoing the emotional energy of their early attachments. A man might feel pulled toward a woman whose gentleness mirrors the warmth he missed as a child. A woman might find herself magnetized by confidence, not for the power it holds, but for the safety it promises. In long-term love, physical attraction evolves. It becomes less about adrenaline and more about comfort, a rhythm of touch, breath, and shared space. Neuroscientists call this limbic resonance, when two nervous systems sync up, mirroring heart rates and emotions. It's why sleeping next to someone you love feels different. Even in silence, your bodies are speaking a language only the two of you understand. But there's a shadow side too. Many confuse physical attention with emotional intimacy. They chase the spark but ignore the soul. That's where emptiness grows, when touch lacks tenderness, or when attraction becomes a mask for loneliness. Real intimacy is not found in intensity but in safety, in the quiet moments where you can simply exist beside someone without the need to perform. True physical love is not just desire, it's recognition. A reminder that beneath all logic and labels, we are creatures who long to be felt, not just understood. The psychology of physical attraction teaches us this. Love isn't about finding the most beautiful body. It's about discovering the one presence that makes your nervous system exhale and your heart feel seen. They say words can lie, but touch never does. When someone places their hand on yours, when a hug lasts a little longer than usual, or when two foreheads rest quietly together, there's a kind of truth being spoken without sound. A language older than speech, more honest than promises. It's the language of touch, Touch is the first form of communication we ever experience. Before a child learns to speak, they learn the meaning of warmth, the comfort of being held, the rhythm of a heartbeat against their skin. That memory never leaves us. It becomes the foundation of how we understand love for the rest of our lives. In adulthood, every form of physical connection, a kiss, a caress, even the act of holding hands, activates those same neural pathways. The brain interprets safe touch as safety itself. That's why when someone you trust holds you, your muscles loosen, your breath deepens, your mind quiets. Touch literally tells your body you're not alone anymore. But here's where it becomes psychological. Touch carries emotion. When it's rushed, it feels empty. When it's intentional, it feels sacred. The difference between lust and love is not in what the body does, but in what the heart feels while doing it. Lust consumes. Love connects. The human brain releases oxytocin not only during intimacy, but also during moments of gentle physical presence. A soft kiss on the forehead, fingers brushing through hair, a partner tracing slow circles on your back when you're anxious. These moments create what scientists call limbic safety, a deep nervous system calm that can only exist when you feel emotionally seen. Psychologically, this is why couples who maintain small, consistent gestures of affection, rather than dramatic displays, report stronger emotional bonds. It's not the grand moments that sustain connection, but the quiet, wordless ones. A hug after a long day, a glance across the room that says, "I'm here." Love at its core is attention turned into touch. Yet, in today's world, we are touch-starved. We swipe, we text, we talk, but we rarely feel. Many relationships lose warmth not because love fades, but because the language of touch goes unspoken. Physical affection becomes mechanical or forgotten, but the human mind notices. Without touch, the body begins to crave what words can't replace: presence. Touch also carries memory. Think about the person who once held your hand when you were scared, or the one whose embrace felt like home. Those sensations are stored in your somatosensory cortex, the part of your brain that processes physical sensation, meaning that emotional comfort and physical memory are forever intertwined. That's why certain touches can bring tears to your eyes, even years later. For those in long-term relationships, understanding this is crucial. Over time, attraction deepens not through intensity, but through familiarity. The small rituals of contact that say, "I still choose you." A couple may no longer feel the same adrenaline rush of new love, but when they hold each other in silence, something more profound exists: safety, devotion, peace. However, not all touch feels safe. For people who grew up without affection, physical closeness can trigger discomfort. Their bodies learned that touch might not mean love. It might mean control, rejection, or inconsistency. Healing this requires patience, gentleness, and most importantly, consent. Relearning touch is about rebuilding trust in the body's right to feel good again. From a psychological point of view, the body stores what the mind forgets. When someone experiences affection that is kind and non-demanding, their nervous system starts to reprogram itself. The brain learns that it's okay to be seen, okay to relax, okay to feel warmth without fear. That's the real healing power of physical love. It doesn't just connect bodies, it repairs history. Now imagine a couple sitting together in quiet. No words, just stillness. She leans her head on his shoulder. He exhales and rests his cheek against her hair. No performance, no expectation. Just two human beings existing in the same emotional frequency. That's what modern psychology calls co-regulation, the synchronization of two nervous systems. When love is healthy, your body begins to trust life again. It's not about the perfection of romance. It's about the simplicity of presence. Touch also speaks where words fail. When someone is grieving, a hand on the back can communicate what language never can. "I see your pain. I'm with you." When someone is in love, a single brush of fingers can say more than 1,000 confessions. This is because touch bypasses rational thought. It moves directly through the insula, the brain's center for empathy and bodily awareness. That's why even in silence, touch feels alive. But let's be honest, not everyone experiences physical love with purity. Many people use physical affection as a substitute for emotional connection. They touch to feel wanted, not to feel seen. They give their bodies while hiding their hearts. And though that may provide temporary relief, it often leaves a deeper emptiness, because the body can't lie. It knows the difference between being held and being used. True intimacy requires vulnerability, the courage to be emotionally naked, not just physically close. When two people can share touch with honesty, gentleness, and presence, something extraordinary happens. The mind, the body, and the soul align. That's not chemistry, that's connection. In the end, physical love isn't just about pleasure. It's about communication. It's how the soul says, I'm here, I feel you, I choose you. It's a language that doesn't need translation, only trust. Attraction is easy. Connection is rare. Anyone can spark your interest, make your heart race, or make you lose track of time for a while. But the real magic begins when that physical pull starts transforming into something softer, something deeper, something that feels like home. In the beginning, attraction feels electric. It's the adrenaline, the mystery, the late-night messages, the heartbeat that quickens at the sound of their name. The mind floods with dopamine, the brain's pleasure chemical, convincing you that this person is special, maybe even the one. But psychology reminds us, in those early moments, you're not falling in love with a person. You're falling in love with the feeling they awaken inside you. Over time, the rush fades. But that's not the end, and it's the beginning of truth. Because when the surface-level thrill starts to calm down, what remains is what's real. If connection runs deeper than chemistry, then love begins to evolve. The body quiets, but the soul starts to speak. That's where real intimacy begins. In the calm after the chaos. Deep connection isn't about how often you touch, but how deeply you're seen. It's when your partner doesn't just understand your smile, but also the silence behind it. It's when you can sit together in complete quiet and still feel understood. It's when you share your darkest fears and instead of judgment, you find softness. That's not attraction anymore, that's emotional safety. From a psychological view, this stage is where secure attachment starts to form. Your brain begins releasing oxytocin and serotonin, not because of the excitement, but because of trust. You no longer chase validation. You rest in it. You no longer fear losing them. You feel grounded in their presence. That shift, from desire to devotion, is the heart of mature love. But getting there isn't easy. Many relationships never move beyond attraction because that stage feels intoxicating. The problem is attraction thrives on uncertainty, on the what if. Connection, however, demands vulnerability. And vulnerability is terrifying. It means removing the armor, revealing the flaws, showing who you truly are, not who you pretended to be to impress them. When someone can love you through that, the unfiltered, messy, human version of you, then love becomes something unbreakable. In psychology, this transformation is called emotional integration. It's the process where your nervous system learns that love is not chaos, it's calm. It's when your body stops mistaking anxiety for excitement, when peace feels more romantic than drama, when home stops being a place and becomes a person. But let's talk honestly. Deep connection doesn't always look cinematic. Sometimes it looks like washing dishes together after dinner. Sometimes it's sitting in a car, both tired, both quiet, but still choosing to stay. Sometimes it's apologizing even when you're not entirely wrong. Just because connection matters more than ego. That's love in its most human form. Ordinary moments turned sacred by attention. And here's the beautiful paradox. Real love doesn't make life easier. It makes you stronger. Because now, instead of facing the world alone, you have someone who holds your fears with you. Someone who becomes your mirror, not always showing what you want to see, but what you need to see to grow. That's the true purpose of love. Not to complete you, but to awaken you. Physical attraction may have started the story, but emotional connection keeps it alive. In long-term relationships, couples who stay deeply connected often say it's not passion that keeps them together, it's friendship. The ability to laugh together, to listen, to support each other's growth. Even when life gets heavy, psychologically, love matures when it shifts from I want you to I value you. It's when love stops being about possession and becomes about presence. When you stop asking, "What do I get from this?" and start asking, "What do we build together?" And yes, even physical intimacy evolves. It becomes slower, gentler, more meaningful. The body stops trying to impress and starts trying to express. A kiss becomes gratitude. A touch becomes reassurance. Every act becomes a conversation, one that says, "I see you. I still choose you." True connection, at its core, is a merging of nervous systems, a harmony between two minds that have learned to trust each other's rhythms. When you hold someone close, your heartbeats can literally sync. Science proves it, but the soul always knew it. Yet we must remember, connection is not constant. It ebbs and flows. Even the deepest relationships face distance, misunderstanding, or silence. But those who truly love don't panic when the spark dims. They know how to reignite it. They know that love isn't something you feel all the time. It's something you choose every day. Sometimes choosing love means staying. Sometimes it means giving space. Sometimes it means growing together, and sometimes, painfully, growing apart. But in every form, connection leaves an imprint that never fades. Because real love doesn't end when two people separate. It continues in the lessons they leave behind. From a psychological lens, this is called transference of emotional energy. The bond you form with someone reshapes your emotional blueprint. You learn how to love deeper, how to listen better, how to recognize yourself through another's eyes. So even if the relationship changes, the connection lives on, within you. And that's the quiet beauty of human love. It begins in attraction, burns in passion, matures in understanding, and endures in memory. It's not perfect, it's alive. And that's what makes it sacred. Because in the end, the psychology of attraction isn't just about desire. It's about recognition. When two souls see each other beyond the surface, when love stops being a mirror of what you want and becomes a window into who you truly are, that's when physical love transforms into something eternal. Love begins in the body but grows in the mind and lives in the soul. Attraction pulls you closer. Connection keeps you there. And when both align, that's not just chemistry. That's destiny.